Well, hi everyone, it's me, Kat. Okay, so I'm doing a 7-day kind of video challenge from that was by my my private coach, Sean Whalen, in my Lion's Den group. And I decided to go ahead and start that challenge today, of all days, because I think it's appropriate. If you've been following me in my journey in my life at all, you know what it's been like for me. Today's been 300 days since Zach shot himself in the head. And I'm doing really good. I'm powering through, and I've found strength and resilience inside myself that I never ever knew existed. I've always known that I was strong, but I didn't realize how strong I was until this last 300 days. So, some of you may also know that a week ago, irony of all ironies, a relative of mine, a blood family member, shot himself in the face with an AK-47. And so my journey continues. I've had a twisted week. It's been a good week. One thing that I've found in this process in the last, since last Wednesday, the journey to here to today, is that I really am this person. One of the things that I fear the most in life at this point in the game is not actually being able to walk the walk that I'm talking, because I want to be the most authentic, real Kat Williamson that there ever has been and ever will be. That's my mission going forward. I'm going to reach as many people and touch as many people's lives as I can possibly do. If it takes every last breath out of me, I'm going to keep doing what I'm going to do and hopefully change some lives along the way. That being said, look where I am right now. Let me show you. See? Just across that field over there, that's where my daughter's buried, Gina. I buried her here on January 18th, 2014. There's only one funeral home in the area that we live in, so when someone dies around here, tags is kind of where everything goes down, sort of. And ironically, this is also where I said goodbye to Zach on August 28th, 2019. Zach's service and Gina's service were in the same room in that funeral home that they were in the same room. It's the same room that we always go to. So when I got the phone call this week that my cousin's service was going to be here, I was like, okay, this was my first thought. Really? Honestly? Okay, let's see how that works. Let's see how that goes. And so, I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to show up here and handle, I'm not going to lie and say that, this was my cousin. He was a good kid. Was I closer to him than as any two cousins could be? No, I wasn't. I'm not gonna lie. This is not about me. What's happening is about my family. It's about the rest of my relatives and the people that are hurting and broken and fucking leveled right now because one of our own shot themselves in the face with an AK-47. So my part in all of this right now has been, for the most part, I'm just sitting back in the sidelines. I'm trying to talk some people through. I'm trying to be strong, and I have been. I'm being strong, and because I know what I know, and I believe what I believe, and I have found the secret. I have found the light, and I have found the freedom that comes with understanding death and kind of life itself and how everything works. So here's what I'm going back in into the room. I'm going to walk through the doors of this funeral home. And there's this smell in there that I cannot explain to you. I remember the smell from January 18th, 2014. There's a very specific smell in there. I can't ever forget it. And as soon as I open the doors, when I walk into the funeral home in a minute to meet my family, that it's gonna just go right up my face and right in my nose. I don't remember the day that Zach's service was because I was so medicated. I don't remember anything about that day. I remember nothing. I've been told about that day incessantly, and I've seen the videos, and I now have heard the eulogy that I gave for my husband, which P.S. was pretty freaking awesome. I'm really proud of myself for the way that I honored my husband's goodbye. But so here's my message right now is a message, in the coaching group that I'm in, we go by these principles of power, passion, productivity. I'm doing this what I'm doing right now is it's passion and it's power, because I'm very passionate about, I guess, death. And not that I'm passionate about death, I'm passionate about how death works and how I've personally found a way to stop battling with it and stop letting the fear of death cut me down at my knees at every turn. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna turn my car away from this spot. I'm gonna go pull into the front. I'm gonna walk into those doors. I'm gonna go sit in that same room, in those same pews, those godforsaken fucking Turrentine Morrow Jackson pews that I've become all too familiar with. And I'm gonna keep my chin up and my head held high, and I'm gonna keep my hope where I know it is, because this is what I think. Death is nothing at all. This is what I wrote so many years ago. I wrote this on December 18th, 2015. And I'm going to repeat these words to myself right now as I walk into what could probably be one of the worst days of my year. But you know what? I'm not going to let it be, because this is why. I held an angel in my arms for 4.25 hours, who left my world as swiftly as she entered it, thus bestowing me the privilege of seeing her very first breath and then her very last. When her heart stopped, so did mine, for what seemed like an eternity, and in that moment I just knew that all the light from my soul had slipped with hers forever. Quite certainly I was wrong, though, because I am still right here, with a shining heart filled with joy and peace that is healed where I never knew it was broken. You see, I am a woman who was blessed in the presence of two departed at the moment their mortal shackles were released, not the least of which were my precious daughters, as my hands gave her right back to heaven. It took me a minute, plus 20 twisted years, but I've since found the words, "all is well," to be so much more than endearing. For both of them survive with me in every shadow before and behind, as I feel their presences fervently locked in the deepest chasms of my mind. I never got to hear her voice, yet I recognize it clearly. And his are the chords that fill my memories and heart with joy and laughter. Perhaps the greatest triumph of my own sweet earthly existence was that moment I realized I was speaking of, writing about, and taking flowers to their graves. Without a single shed of tear, but reveling in the truth that in their crossing, my God has not forsaken me, but all the while, He has been planting the seeds of my truly blind faith and granting my greatest freedom. And while of course I do not delight at the thought of our next inevitable relation, I no longer fear him, death, for he is but an enigma, who in one strange paradox both enlightens and ceases my need to comprehend. For in all of my years, both broken and whole, I have learned to grieve with hope, and with that, all is truly well. I wasn't gonna cry just now, but I guess that's to be expected. If you're watching this right now, I just want to encourage you to hug someone that you love today. Because, man, life is short, and you just never know where the ride's gonna take you. I don't fear death. I don't. I've made peace with it, and I will continue to make peace with it. It's gonna take a lot more than death to fucking bring me down, and that's just the way that it is. Does it suck being left here behind, having to deal with the aftermath of just the aftermath? Of course it does, but at the end of the day, I'll pick up my chin off the ground, just like I hope so many of the people that I loved are going to be able to do, and understand that there's so much more to this than meets the eye. We're here for this much, this little blip. We are just a pebble, guys. We're a pebble in an ocean, and our job is to leave a ripple effect for the rest of our family, people that we might not ever know. I'm leaving a ripple in my ocean. I dropped my pebble in. Actually, I've thrown my pebble in like actual boulder, and I know that before it's all said and done, my ripples are going to mean something. All of this is going to have meant something. So, I love all of you. Go hug someone that you love today, please. If you don't see them tomorrow when you wake up, just remember that death is nothing at all. Bye.